All right, welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So my name is Dr. Patrick Earns, and I hope you all can hear me. If you can't hear me for some reason, make sure you're on Google Chrome. If Google Chrome isn't working for you, or if it's still not working in Google Chrome, please, they recommend signing out of Blackboard and then signing back in, doing things like clearing cookies, things like that to try to make this work for you. But yeah, so hopefully it is working for everyone. If you're having any difficulties, feel free to dump it in the chat if you don't feel like comfortable, speaking it to me or speaking over people. But welcome. So as I mentioned, my name is Dr. Patrick Kearns. I am going to be your instructor for this semester. And so I'm just going to share my screen with you all. Whoa. I do enjoy when that happens. Let me 1 second. Stop that. Share application window. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to share with you my, what is going on? What's going on here, friend? Share application one more time. Chrome tab. Share. So I'm going to share with you my screen one more time. We're going to look at the syllabus. We're going to just talk about what we're going to be doing for this semester. And from there, we'll do just a brief sort of lecture on chemistry. I don't want to over sort of load you guys on the first day. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for you, certainly. So we're going to sort of take today slow, just make sure everyone understands what's going on in syllabus, and from there, go from there. So, but as I mentioned, my name is Dr. Patrick Kearns, be your instructor for the semester. So on Blackboard, you should have all the information you need. This is an online-only course, so this is not something we're going to be meeting, in face-to-face or doing labs, but we're simply just going to be meeting on Blackboard Connect every Wednesday, and then you will be doing your labs on your own every Monday. And so this is going to be all virtual. I know that's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world, but we're going to make it work. And I think with the help of sort of all the online tools that we have, I think it's going to be a relatively fun semester. So just as a note, so this is my email. It's pkern@fisher.edu. This is my phone number in my office, and this is my office. It's on the 4th floor of 108. I'm not on campus a ton this semester simply because of the sort of the constraints of COVID. So if you call here for some reason and I don't answer, it's probably because I'm just not on campus, simply because they sort of discouraging being on campus a lot. But when I am on campus, which will be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can find me in my office here. But the best way to get in touch with me is going to be via my email account here. I check it all the time, which is sort of the nature of being a professor. You check it all the time. So this is going to be a sort of a broad class. It's introductory biology, general biology 1, whatever you want to call it. And this basically takes us all the way through sort of the chemical foundations of life. It takes us through genetics. It takes us through molecules and cells and DNA and RNA and all that fun stuff. So it's a really, really broad course. That being said, that can be difficult, and I recognize that. The material that we cover is a lot. In one sense, it's kind of easier to take a more specialized course like molecular biology, where you're focusing just on one topic, than it is to take a really broad course like this. But so this is the syllabus, and then this is our syllabus. Feel free to read it at your leisure, but I'm gonna go through it right now. Let me just share my application, share my Chrome tab, and let me share this. Okay, so we're just going to go through it together, talk about it, and just sort of talk about and answer any questions that you have about the syllabus as a whole. So when this decides to load, the internet is very slow on campus today. So about me, as I mentioned, Dr. Kearns, call me Professor Kearns, Dr. Kearns, you can call me Patrick, doesn't really matter. I'm the brand new program director and assistant professor here at Fisher. So I was, just to be honest with you, I was hired about 8 or 9 days ago. So I am brand new to Fisher. So if you're planning on staying in the biology program here at Fisher, you're going to have to get used to dealing with me because you're going to be seeing me a lot. So if you take biology next semester, you'll see me. If you take cell and molecular biology, you'll see me. If you ever take intro to chemistry, if you haven't taken it already, you'll see me again. So you're going to see me a lot going forward. Overall, and you're also going to see me because I'll be your advisor. So as you stay in the biology program at Fisher, you're going to have to come to me with questions. What courses do I take? What do I do for internships? All that fun stuff. So you're going to have to deal with me a lot, and I think that's a good thing. I'm generally pretty good at inviting, and I'm a pretty pleasant person. I'm very, very laid back. So I'm always willing to help people. But again, you're going to have to deal with me quite a bit going forward. In terms of my training, I got my microbiology doctorate from Northeastern University here in Boston about 3 or 4 years ago now. And so I'm a microbiologist by training. So I like being outside. And so my microbiology focuses a lot on being outside. So soils and sediments and plants and all that fun stuff. That's what my microbiology has really focused on. In terms of just a little fun fact about me, I have 2 dogs. Go away, stupid thing. I have 2 dogs, Snickers, who's the chubby little pit bull here, and then Chip, who's the little puppy dog. He's a pain in the butt. If I ever do these lectures at home, you'll hear them in the background, so just as an FYI. So that being said, that's about me. Here's my email, my office hours, my office, my phone. I don't have official office hours simply because this is a remote course and we don't really meet and stuff like that. But if you ever want to meet with me remotely, or if you want to meet with me on campus, please just let me know by email and we can set something up that works mutually for both of us. But in terms of instead of having you all introduce yourself on Blackboard here, what I will do is after this class is over, I'm going to create a little discussion board. So you're going to post about yourself on a Blackboard discussion board. So your name, where you're from, your major. If it's not bio, let me know what major you are in, what's your interest in biology, what are your future plans, and what is something fun about you. It doesn't have to be something fun and crazy. Like I just told you, I have 2 dogs, as you can see. So as I mentioned, there'll be a little Blackboard post for you guys to take a peek at and post about yourself. This way you can get to know one another. This way I can get to know you. And whenever we finally go back on campus together, then we can finally meet in person and all that fun stuff. So the course, as I mentioned, it's a really, really broad introductory biology course. It means we cover a lot of ground and we cover it relatively quickly. We have 15 weeks together and we cover a ton of stuff. We start at chemistry and evolution and then we go all the way to the end to genetics. So it's a lot of stuff. It really is. And it's just the nature of intro biology course, and that's just sort of unfortunate. But everyone has to do it this way because this is how every college in the entire world does it, unfortunately. But we're going to be covering a lot of stuff. On the flip side, though, I think it's a good thing because you get to pretty, get a good idea of a wide variety of topics. So you can start to specialize what you want to learn. So maybe we talk about evolution and you're really, really into evolution. Or maybe we talk about, genetics, and you find out, man, I'm really interested in genetics as well. So it has its goods and bads here. It is a required course for all of you that are in the biology program, and this, as most of your courses going forward, has a lecture and laboratory component. In terms of the lecture, as well as citation, it will obviously be here in Blackboard Connect. If Blackboard Connect goes down for some reason, we'll switch to Zoom but we're going to try to keep this on Blackboard Connect just because the whole class is run through Blackboard, so I don't want to sort of get away from Blackboard. We also have a lab, and this lab will be conducted on Labster. And Labster is an online laboratory program, so you're going to be doing doing labs and stuff like that online, which is, with these really fun simulations. They're really easy to do. They take like an hour or so, and you get credit for doing the quizzes, and you get credit for basically showing up and doing it. So it's a fun little online thing. And in addition to that, we'll also have some labs that are sort of independent from Labster. So you'll be doing genetics and a heredity exercise, as well as a scientific measurements lab that is independent of Labster. So, in terms of materials, you will need a textbook, but this textbook will be available free of charge. So it's available on OpenStax. So if you go to the Syllabus or you go to Blackboard, there's a link directly to the textbook. It's available. It's open access. If you take General 2 with me in the spring, we'll be using the same exact textbook, so you don't have to pay for it. It's free. You can download a PDF of it if you want, or you can access it directly in your web browser. But this saves you a bunch of money because the textbook I was thinking about using was $300, and I'm sure you guys would rather spend $300 on something else. So free textbook. Labster, obviously, is a part of our labs. It's going to be provided through the university. You technically paid for this. They charged you a lab fee, but the university is technically providing it for you. So you can take that however you want. It's free, but not free, whatever it is. But that's how I'll be doing a lot of our labs. And then obviously you need internet access. There's, you're all here thus far. You clearly have internet access. You have it on the campus. There's computers on campus, but you do need internet access to basically, come to class and do your exercises. So if you have any technology problems, I recognize that, technology sucks and it doesn't like to work sometimes for whatever reason, but if you have any problems, please do let me know as ahead of time as you physically can. If you're trying to do it and it's due the next day and I can't really help you at midnight on a Friday or something like that. So please just let me know ahead of time. In terms of how you're going to be graded, it's a pretty diverse set of topics in terms of how you will be assessed. And so we have participation, a Wikipedia article, exams, homework, lab, and then you have the potential for some extra credit points. So you'll notice that the course is out of 400 points. The single largest categories are going to be your Biowiki, which we'll talk about, as well as your laboratory grade. Those two account for 50% of your overall grade. So let's dive into what I mean by all these things. So participation is basically show up, look engaged, do the activities that we do in class, answer questions, and profit. That's basically it. Basically just show up, do the work, answer the questions I pose to you all, and you'll be good. It's pretty straightforward. It's not meant to be difficult. It's just meant to get you here, get you listening, because biology is a very, very complex field. Science is a very complex field in general, but biology is pretty complex and it's super duper broad. You can go on Wikipedia, you can go on anywhere, and you'll find oodles and oodles of scientific information, good and bad. But coming to class, I distill all that information down to the very key points that you need to know. So coming to class will behoove you, not only as in terms of your learning, but when I do assignments, when I do exams, when I do anything, it's always from the lecture. So coming to the lecture, not only are you graded on it, it's 10% of your grade. You can't get an A without coming to class, but you have it'll make things a lot easier for you going forward. Just as a note. So next up is your Biowiki, and so synthesis of knowledge is important. This is an important part of biology. This is what biologists do. When you see, oh, they're doing this vaccine for COVID-19, they're synthesizing information, they're synthesizing data. So synthesis of any material is an important part of being a biologist. But more importantly, synthesizing information is the best way to learn it. And so the reason I do this type of assignment is because it teaches you to be like a scientist, and it teaches you, it sort of reinforces the material you're already learning. So what you're going to do is you're going to sign up for a group in the coming weeks, and you and your partners, or if you want to go at this alone, that's me too, you're going to create a biology Wikipedia page based on the reading of primary literature, as well as sort of extraneous internet sources. And when I say wiki, I actually mean a wiki. So this picture down here is just the Wikipedia for chloroplasts. And I look at this all the time when I'm doing stuff with chloroplasts for any classes I do, because Wikipedia is a fantastic synthesis of information. Historically speaking, Wikipedia was sort of frowned upon and looked down upon as being unreliable, but nowadays Wikipedia is a fantastic source. As a biologist, it should be one of your first stops for trying to learn anything. So if you want to learn about chloroplasts, go to Wikipedia and pull up the page on chloroplasts to start learning, and then go away from Wikipedia to get better and more in-depth stuff. But as a first pass, Wikipedia is fantastic. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Wikipedia is the bee's knees. Now, what you're going to be doing, and you and your partners, or you alone, you're going to pick a topic, and it's got to be something within the sort of the spectrum of this course. So if you want to do something about, I don't know, isotopes and nutrient cycling, that's cool. If you want to do something about the genetics of Tay-Sachs disease, that's okay too. You have pretty considerable latitude on this topic. You just need to choose something that is of interest to you and your group members. And I want you to be something that's interesting to you because, well, you're gonna be much more invested if it's interesting to you. So I don't want to force you to do something on chemistry if you're really, really passionate about microbiology, like myself. So we'll talk about this more as the course sort of develops, and there'll be checkpoints along the way. So you know this isn't something you're going to do at the last minute. There's sort of checkpoints along the way, and you can see them outlined in the syllabus as a whole. So that's our Biowiki. Next up is exams. This is sort of a meh slide for me. I don't like exams. Exams have been shown through years and years of scientific literature that they're not a good way to assess learning. That's just the way it is. That's what science tells us about exams. That being said, I find that if I don't give students exams, students stop attending class, students stop engaging, students end up learning less. So ultimately, my goal for these exams is not to scare you, it's not to stress you out. This is to keep you paying attention, coming to class, asking questions, and being engaged. So you'll have 3 exams. They're already listed on the syllabus. I will drop the lowest one. So if we just go back to this table, you'll see your exams only count for 20% of your grade each total, so 10% each. So not a huge fraction of your grade, but clearly you still have to do well on them to get a good grade in this class. There's 3 total. I'll drop the lowest one. They're not cumulative at all, so they'll just be on each of the 3 sections of the course. They'll be on Blackboard. There'll be a mixture of true, false, short answer, multiple choice, things like that. And you'll have about 24 hours, well, not about, you'll have exactly 24 hours to complete the exam once it's assigned. Just as a general note, when I assign exams, you can start it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, do 20 minutes of it, and then come back the next day if you wanted to. I don't make you sit down for an hour to do it, just as a note. I think that's a stupid way of doing onlines. And the other thing about exams, I'll just mention is you have all the internet sources in your textbook and the lecture slides to use, but you should do this by yourself. There's no way I can force you to do this by yourself, unfortunately. So you're on your honor as a biologist, but again, it's your exam. You sort of take it how you want, I guess. I can't. I could do online proctoring, but I think that's just beyond the point. But more important, exams are only worth 20% of your grade, so it sort of decentivizes cheating and working together. So next up is your weekly assignments. These are assigned about weekly. They'll be on Blackboard. I'll assign them basically every Wednesday, and they'll be due the following Wednesday. They're just problem sets, true, false, short answer, things like that, to get you thinking about science, get you thinking about the topics in between your exams. They're not meant to be stressful. They're not meant to be crazy. They're pretty simple. So I posted one already. It's going to be on the materials that we'll cover in this class. And it's pretty straightforward. It's all multiple choice right now. So this one's a nice, easy one. They're very straightforward. So don't fret. And again, always keep checking the syllabus for when it's due. Blackboard will tell you, this is due, coming soon. But again, the syllabus will be your main exam, your main thing. The other major part of your grade is going to be your labs. As I mentioned, they're virtually done through Labster. It's a really nice online format for the class. The university will get in touch with you about how to, or if they haven't already, they should have, but how to get to set this up and do it. It's basically, again, a really nice sort of way to do things. it's fun. I like the activities I picked for you guys to do this semester. I enjoyed doing them myself. I wasted I don't know, probably 10 hours doing them. I thought it was fun, but I'm also I'm a big nerd, so you know what's fun for me might not be fun for you. I hope you do enjoy them. And there's going to be some additional exercises associated. So we're doing 3 labs. The first one is called APO2. It's a lab based upon it's a sort of a lab outside of Labster. It's based upon genetics and phenotypes and stuff like that. That comes near the end of the semester. We have a measurements lab. So this is your very first lab. You're basically going to test the reaction time of a partner, and then do some statistics to understand how we calculate and understand science. I think it's a pretty fun exercise. And then you have what's called your virtual genetics lab, which is similar to APO2, where you're doing a virtual genetics assignment, which I think is, again, it's pretty interesting. In terms of every lab, except for the first one, and you'll have a pre-lab quiz. You'll do that either on Labs or on Blackboard. I will let you know ahead of time. So basically the way to know this is if your lab is going to be on Labster, you'll do the quiz on Labster. If your lab is on Blackboard or outside of Labster, you'll do it on Blackboard. It's pretty straightforward. And then finally, you also get points for just doing your lab. So you just do the lab and you get 25% of your grade. So lab is mostly just showing up and doing the work. That's sort of the theme of biology, and I guess that's kind of sort of the theme of the course, is just sort of showing up. As with most classes, I do offer extra credit. This is the only extra credit I will offer through the class. If you're struggling in grade, this is the only way you're going to get extra credit points. I'm not going to plan on offering anything else. There are 6 discussion boards available on Blackboard right now. You can go do all 6 of them right now. It'll take you a couple hours. You can knock it out. But they're discussion boards. I'll show you. We'll switch over to Blackboard in a minute, and I'll show you what that looks like. But you can earn 1% or 4 points towards your final grade for each of the discussion boards you do. And so there's 6 in total, so that means you can make up 6% of your total grade for the semester. So, if you say you got an 88 and you do all 6 discussion boards and you get that plus 6%, well, you have an A, you have a 94. So it's a great way to bump your grade up, but it's not going to save your grade overall. But as I mentioned, this will be the only extra credit that I plan on offering during the class. Just because it's, everything's remote, everything is sort of, you have every resource in the world at your hands. So this will be it in terms of extra credit. I don't usually scale exams on online courses, again, because you have so much information at your hands. So in terms of other policies, I typically don't accept late work. Most of the stuff you have plenty of, everything is on the syllabus. You have plenty of notice for when things are going to be due. So I'm not planning on accepting any late work. Now, if you have a valid excuse, if you get sick with COVID, right? That's a perfectly reasonable thing. If a family member dies, get into a car accident, you guys know the sort of gist of excusable instances. Let me know. Then you can make it up. But don't wait weeks and weeks and weeks. So if you say you missed your first exam, don't wait till. Obviously, if you have to wait 4 weeks to tell me because you were in a terrible car crash and you were in the hospital, that's a different story. But don't wait 4 weeks. I generally give people about a week to contact me if you have an excused absence. After that week, you sort of lost your opportunity. So that means if you missed today's class, or you missed another class, or you missed an assignment, and you wait till the end of the semester to tell me, you're out of luck. It's just the way it is. And everything has to be in your own words. This is less true for your assignments and stuff like that. But for your Biowiki, for your lab reports, for your short answer questions, everything should be in your own words. There's tons and tons of school policies on cheating, and it's really, really easy to cheat and not think you're cheating. So if you ever have any questions about academic honesty, about what constitutes cheating, please just let me know. I'm more than happy to discuss that with you, but I take cheating very, very seriously. You guys are all biology or health science majors in some shape or form. Your honor as a biologist or as a chemist or whatever field of science or medicine you go into is huge. You can't be a dishonest nurse. You can't be a dishonest scientist. So starting your tenure off by cheating in your general biology course is the wrong way to start. So I will, in terms of plagiarism and stuff like that. I'm going to follow the school's policies on cheating, and I'm going to be very, very strict upon it, just because, again, your honesty is really important for you as a scientist, as a nurse, as a doctor, whatever field you go into. It is very important. So I'm going to hold you to the same standard I would hold my colleagues in research, because you're going to be held to that standard when you leave Fisher. So I know that sounded really harsh, but I'm not that harsh of a person. If you have any questions about this academic honesty part, please just let me know. If you're writing your Biowiki and you're worried about plagiarism, just let me know. I'll talk with you. We can look at it, and I'll tell you if it's fine or not. But please don't do it. Please, please, please. So that's going to be in terms of the syllabus itself. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer for you? That's sort of the gist. You can say them to me. You can dump them in the chat. Anybody have any questions that I can answer? Not all at once. Okay. No, that works for me. Again, it's pretty straightforward. So I just want to sort of go over the structure of Blackboard really quickly. Let me see. So let's go over the structure of Blackboard. We'll do this in student mode so you can see what you guys will see when you log into Blackboard. This is like what I see when I log on. It's much more in depth, but this is what you will see. So basic anatomy of Blackboard, if you're not familiar with it, I'll post announcements here. Everything is sort of on this ribbon on the side here. I haven't posted any announcements already, but I'll use the announcements as opposed to emailing you all, because I feel like undergraduates get enough emails as is. So I will do the announcements. There's the start here. Course content, syllabus. To tell, this is stuff provided by the university that will help you get started if you need it. This is the course documents and the syllabus. So, here's online etiquette and crap like that. And the syllabus is here. So if you click on this, it'll pop open a Word document of the syllabus that we already went through. In terms of required texts, here's your textbook. If you click this, it'll take you to OpenStax, the second edition of biology. Again, it's free. This is something we'll use next semester as well if you take General Biology 2 with me. So I don't know. I think it's a really good book. I also think it's a really good book because it's free. So even though it wasn't free, even though if it's free, it's still a pretty good book overall. So in terms of course content, we have a weekly module that will cover basically every week. So basically, for instance, this is the first week, so September 8th to 13th. You can go back and you'll see weekly module number 2. Well, that's there too. Okay. So a couple things about this. So for instance, this is this week. So here's the PowerPoints from today. Here's your very first homework assignment. So you can get started on this right now if you so choose. And then here are the readings. So I linked the biology textbook, so chapter 1 and chapter 2. That's in terms of what you should read every week, it's in the syllabus. Reading is up to you. I can't force you to read the book, but it's there for extra knowledge. And then there's, as you'll notice on the syllabus, there's a couple papers. It's a couple things telling you how to read a scientific paper. You should also read these. These are links to some websites at Science, Elsevier, and a couple other places, sort of teaching you how to read a scientific paper, getting you think about how to synthesize information from primary literature. In terms of other modules, so for instance, we have no labs this week, but next week we'll have a lab. And so you have the couple different things. So you have this will link you directly all the lab materials that you have for that week. So here's the safety information, and here's the lab you're going to be doing about lab safety and measurements and statistics, I should say. And then you also have the an exercise we're going to do as a class, and you also have the extra credit discussion board if you want to pop that open. You can do that as well. But everything you'll need for every week, you can always just go right here. You can always go to weekly modules. If you want to know what to do for X week, or say we're going into week 2 and you want to know what you have to do, what we're going to be doing, what's due, just pop over to the weekly module. Everything will be there. But if you want to sort of be more directed about it, you can hop over to any one of the links on the side. So there's a link for lab materials. So if you have any extra lab materials we need, there's linkage here for the Biowiki, so the description of the project and a couple examples. And there's also gradables, so your homeworks will be here. Your tests and quizzes will be dumped here as well. There's little tips for taking a quiz on Blackboard. And then all the extra credit discussion boards are here as well. And so this is, they're all available here. They're not all due right now. So for instance, this first one is due next week. So, but they're spaced out through the course. And again, all you need to do is just hop over to the syllabus and see what's due when. And that's the gist of Blackboard. You guys all made it here, so to get to the class, be Blackboard Collaborate sessions on the left. There's a bunch of crap that university has, but you can click Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, and for instance, today's class, there'll be a class for next week, and every class will have its own unique thing as well. Let me exit that preview. So that's the sort of the gist of the flow of this class. We'll meet Mondays. I'm sorry. You'll do your labs on your own on Wednesdays. So just look at the schedule here down at the bottom. So for instance, this week we have the course intro. After this, we have the recitation. So it's basically like an extension of the lecture itself. And there'll be sort of a mixture of things. So the lecture and recitation will sort of bleed into one another. So we'll do quantitative information and chemical foundation of life, and then the recitation we would theoretically do how science is done, and then the next week we'll do a lecture on evolution, and then we'll do an exercise on evolution in the recitation. But everything is listed here, so you can see your first extra credit discussion board is due. Your homework number 1 is due. Everything is there for you. What you need to read, what you need to do, everything is there. Now, I will update the syllabus from time to time as I want to add more things for you to read or things like that, but I will let you know via an announcement if I do update the syllabus at all. And the other thing to make notice is, you have your due date parts of your bibliography for your article. So, for instance, on the 14th of October, you have the preliminary bibliography for your Biowiki due. So just as a note. In terms of the lab, this is, we didn't meet Monday, obviously, because it was Labor Day. But the labs are to be done on your own. You can work with a partner if you chose, but the Labster stuff is really something you do on your own. So the sort of the flow of the lab is, if it's on Labster, you basically will do the lab quiz. I'm sorry, this shouldn't say Blackboard. It's on Labster. I'm sorry about that. I have to update that. You'll do a pre-lab quiz, and then you'll do the exercise, and then you'll be done. In terms of things that are done outside Labster, again, as I showed you sort of here, you'll have, here's the lab itself, the document, and then here's a spreadsheet and the lab safety document as well. Those ones will have a pre-lab quiz you'll do on Blackboard. So basically anything that's shaded gray in this table, it's done on your own. Anything that's white, you do in Labster. So it's pretty straightforward. And the other thing to sort of take note of is when the lab reports are due. So you're going to do your lab measurement, your lab safety and measurement exercise next week. Its lab report is going to be due in 2 weeks after that. And then you'll have your virtual genetics lab. It'll be on the November 2nd, and then the lab report for that will be due 2 weeks later. So everything is here. Everything, there's no surprises with me. There's no surprise for this course. Everything will be, everything that's due, everything you have to do is there. Now, will we deviate from sort of, will we deviate from some of these topics? Potentially. For instance, like I don't want to keep class going too long today, and we've already gone about 40 minutes, and that's a bit too long for the first class as a whole. So we'll probably, what we'll probably do is I'll probably record a chemical foundation video for you guys, and then we'll talk about how science is done next week. So, So just, we'll try to keep to the schedule as best we can, but, some classes might bleed into each other. Macromolecules might take only part of the class and start talking about something else. Or maybe membranes takes a long time and we push cellular structure back a little bit. But as a general rule, if it's on the syllabus, that's basically what we're going to be doing every time. No guesswork. This is what you see is what you get. I'm not trying to hide anything for you. I'm not trying to make your life difficult. This is what you see is what you get with me. That's just the way I am as a professor. Because I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I hate when people, change stuff or make things more difficult for anyone as a whole. So there's no practicals. I couldn't do a lab practical for you if I wanted to, right? I mean, I can't test your capacity to pipette or anything like that because you're not pipetting, right? You're doing a virtual lab. So there's no lab practicals. There's only 3 lab reports, and you have all those lab quizzes, but that's the way you're testing on the lab. Now, if we were in person, that would be a different story, but not for this class. So, all right. So like I said, I don't want to keep everyone too long. I feel like I already dumped way too much information on you already. So like I said, what I will do is, if you looked at the slides for today, I'm just going to quickly record a lecture after this, going through the chemistry, going through how science is done for you guys. Just to not keep us together for too long. But if you have questions, I'm going to hang around for a bit. But as I mentioned, I'm always available via email. If you want to chat, over Zoom or by phone, please let me know. But I'm going to sort of just end class a little bit early today. Just let everyone, digest. And then you'll have, you can watch the video that I post of the lecture, and you can also essentially do your homework based upon that lecture. It's a very, very simple homework. It's 16 multiple choice questions. I think that's pretty easy. But yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, your attendance is automatically taken. So if you come into the class, it tells me how long you were in class for and stuff like that. And so you don't need to do anything. But like I said, I'll hang around for 15 minutes or so. Less if you guys all are just going to leave to answer any questions. You can say them at me. You can type them in the chat. And the other thing I want to mention is if you have any any learning disabilities, if you have any learning disabilities, if you have any medical conditions that I should know about, please do let me know. These medical conditions can be documented and through the university and stuff like that. But what types of medical conditions exist, right? You could be suffering from depression. You could be suffering from severe anxiety, and you don't have something that's documented through the university. So please let me know if you have anything, whether it's documented or undocumented, so that I can just be aware of it. But again, I can't help you if you tell me at the end of the semester that you were suffering from anxiety the entire semester, right? So you have to just sort of let me know. In terms of class at 3:20, I was just going to keep this week short and simple. We'll just talking about the syllabus itself. So we'll come back together next week at the same time, same place. Just an intro class. I don't want to just bombard you with information on the first day. Because I know you're getting bombarded with information for basically every class you're taking, and that could be a few or a lot, depending on who you are as a person. So. But yeah, if you have any questions, like I said, I'm going to hang around. Again, email me is the best way to get in touch with me. I'll respond as fast as I physically can. I think one of you emailed me, and I emailed you back 5 minutes later. So that's what I try to do as best I can. And this class gets recorded just as an FYI, and you'll be able to access the recordings on Blackboard if you need them. Every class, not just class. I like the sound that Blackboard makes when it tells you you have a message.